It's the 419 Football Show. Let's get straight to it. Mike Robb, John Gibson.
What's good?
How you feeling?
Life is good, man. Life is good. Like it's a good. It's football season, baby. The weather done changed on us. It's good. It's football season.
Yeah, a few degrees done dropped. You had to close the garage. We recording the podcast in the garage. Had to close the garage door because it started getting a little too windy, a little too chilly. But I think the football players might be appreciating that. They might not start having those hot practices, and now they can start cooling down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, again, they need to be making sure they're taking their Pedialyte, drinking their pickle juice, keep them cramps from being a thing, because this is the time where it sneaks up on you. You mess around and cramp up in the third quarter, and you're not healthy. So go ahead, make sure you're getting your nutrients, your electrolytes in, so that Friday night you can really play.
Straight up. Now we heading into last week, so let's recap last week. Let's just dive right in.
Mm-hmm.
Big week. You were on the call with Mason Lowry on the Central Catholic versus St. John's game. Take us through that.
I mean, it was a slugfest, man. I mean, it was a slugfest. It's one of those games where you didn't want to see it end, and you didn't really want to see anybody lose, because both of those teams deserve to walk away with a victory. Right there in the fourth quarter, St. John's kind of gave the game away. There was a couple of penalties. And there was a couple of penalties, and it kind of put them behind the 8 ball, and they gave the game away. And Central Catholic took it. And you knew eventually that I was saying the whole first half, we're not seeing Central Catholic play their brand of football. And then all of a sudden they remembered that Prentice Reasonover is a wrecking ball. And, 178 yards and 5 touchdowns later, you saw a victory there. But it was a heck of a game, because what I also saw that I really, really liked was the maturation and the development of Brady Lichtenberg, man. There was a point in time in the game where you literally saw him go Peyton Manning on it. He saw the blitz coming. He audibled out, checked the offense. The defense then had to shift. And I'm literally sitting there. I'm waiting on him to yell Omaha, because it was one of those things where it's like you knew. It was like, okay, he recognizes what's going on, and he's making it happen.
Yeah, Brady Lichtenberg, he's by far one of those guys that can just control a football game, and we saw that. And that's the special thing about that kind of a matchup, watching Brady Lichtenberg use his weapons and understand that he's going to be under duress. Remember, this is a guy who's went against this defense 5 times already, 5 times already. He played them
once in the playoffs.
Once in the playoffs, yeah. So he's seen this defense. He know what it's about. He probably will see him again in the playoffs this year.
In the playoffs somewhere, one of those rounds that they have, since it's 7 of them this year.
And that's kind of interesting to see, just his development. And one thing too is, his dad sent me some information. He said that he sent me Tom Brady's in the Hall of Fames. Not just Tom Brady, but all the Hall of Fames QBR in their career. And he sent me Brady's QBR.
Oh wow!
And so Brady's QBR for his career is 114.64, and the best in NFL history is 104.93. Now, obviously, it's the NFL and football, but that's impressive.
It's extremely impressive, and it gets to a point where you realize that I hate to use this term, but he's kind of a man playing amongst boys. That level of his level of ability, both mental and physical, is above the level that he's playing on, and I believe he's going to have a heck of a career down in Cincinnati.
That's if he stays there. Who knows? Somebody might come scoop him up. He's really picking it up. Obviously, I think he's going to stay, but anything can happen. When a quarterback start catching fire like that, Ohio State may come knocking. Yeah. That's going to make it tough.
That's going to make it tough. That's going to make it tough to stick to that commitment. Like that's why these coaches are begging for this early signing period. I'm sure Fickle is like, I just need to hold on. Just hold on until December, I'll be fine.
And all coaches are feeling that way, because it's a lot of pressure. And with that game there, we go ahead and give out our game balls. I'll give my game ball out last week to, not in that game there. I'll give mine to Dwayne Moorhead. He had a phenomenal game last week. Actually, this week in general, just paying attention, he's just been racking up the accolades. Yeah. Getting awards from the National Football Foundation. I saw him on an interview on BCSN, and I feel like kids in that small region schools, they don't get enough coverage. And so this is me doing my due diligence and giving the game ball to Dwayne Moorhead for just, dominating in that league, stepping up, fighting through that. And last week he had a couple touchdown runs that got called back. And this week we could be able to catch that game here on Saturday when they take on I'm not sure who they take on this Saturday.
They're actually playing Eden.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big game there. That's going to be a physical team. Eden's usually, a tough opponent. So that's going to be a fun game to watch between those two. Who are you giving your game ball to for last week?
Last week, I'm going Prentice Reaven over, man. It's a running back thing. Like, to see what he did.
Of course.
178 yards, 5 touchdowns, the way that he scored the touchdowns. Mind you, there weren't any long runs in that game. It was literally between the tackles, 7-8 yards a clip. But you saw some shiftiness. You saw the lateral movement, the lateral quickness, and the vision to be able to put the ball in the end zone. Prentice Reasanover really put that team on his back in the second half of that game.
100%. I think those two athletes are deserving, so congratulations to them. From the 419 Football Podcast, we got game balls going to Prentice Reasanover and one going to Dwayne Moorhead for just their outstanding performances in week 2 of the COVID season. That's what we're going to call this, the COVID season.
The COVID season.
So moving right along, it gets interesting. And so far, who are some of the most interesting teams that stood out to you?
Well, I'm interested. I was really interested in the St. John's team. I know they lost this week, but they've got all the pieces to make a long playoff run. I mean, their defense was solid. Of course, we talked about Brady Lichtenberg, but we didn't talk about Thomas Zyrus. 4 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 3 receiving, and then the kickoff return.
Beast mode.
Yeah, oh man, that beast mode touchdown.
That was embarrassing, man. Like to be that guy. I mean, you like, dang, I really tried to wrangle that guy, but he really turned it on.
Yeah, I mean, that's like on your reverse highlight reel. Like that's on your reverse highlight. That's one of those ones you hope coach just fast forwards on past that one because it was an amazing effort. But you saw that team has a lot of pieces, and it's like they were really trying to get over the hump. It's just that Central Catholic was too good.
And let me take it a step further, with that, because I'm interested in that team as well. Coach McDaniels, I think he's done an outstanding job really rallying this St. John's team over the past, few years, since he's taken over in, I believe, 2017. He's taken over the realms. He's really taken his team to different heights. Yeah. And I think the players are buying in. This is a different style of St. John's football that we're used to seeing. But what I like to see in this offense is that, and the defense is that it feel like they're doing what's best for the players.
Right.
So they're not trying to run a system like, hey, we're not running the Power I every year because, we're Power I team. We're going to run what's best to our players.
Yeah, and I think that's the mark of a good coach. I've always said, we go into the pro league, Bill Belichick is the best coach because he's the most versatile. He's going to take, he's like your mama a couple of days before payday. He's going to go in the refrigerator and make something amazing out of whatever's in the refrigerator, and you're going to love it. And that's kind of what, Coach McDaniel's doing. You got a kid with talent like Brady. You're not going to make him hand the ball off 35 times a game. You're going to let him do what it is that he does. And I think that's the mark of a great coach to me.
Agreed. I like it. And then on the flip side of that, I'm a little bit, teasing, the big game that's coming up, one of our games of the week coming up. But the other team that's interesting to me in the same conference has to be Findlay. This is just a team that has bruisers, big dudes everywhere. I mean, Searles, one of the right tackles is a junior. He's 6'8", 345. You have another kid, Crutcher. He's another tackle that's 6'7", 285 pounds. You got, the rest of this offensive line is just beefy, big, and young.
Yeah.
And then also Max Roth. That quarterback might be I'm not even going to say might. He is the second best quarterback in the league. Findlay's quarterback is legit. And what I mean by that is when you watch him on film, he's so smooth. Mm-hmm. He will go out there, he'll throw the ball, he'll run the ball, but everything he does seems so effortlessly.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it, tantalizing if you're the defense, because you got to look at it and say, what are we going to do? We going to stop him on this inside zone, QB keep, or is he going to throw it over the top of our head? But he's tough enough to do it all and get back up and stay smart. So Finley is one of those teams that I think a lot of people are going to, not necessarily overlook, but they're going to keep their eyes out on this team for the next couple of years.
Well, I think what they've done for the rest of this season, you're not going to be able to overlook them. They're good. They're good, and they're good right now. And that may not translate into a deep playoff run this year, but when you're talking about those young guys on that offensive line, they're not going to do anything but get more flexible, stronger, and have better conditioning. They're going to be in better shape. And come next year, they're really going to be a force to be reckoned with, and they're going to be at that point pushing against the St. John's and the Central Catholics in the league, because there's that size and there's that talent down there, and Coach P's got those guys playing right out the gate right now.
And just another team to follow up with that catches my eye is just this Perrysburg football team.
Yeah.
After the big victory over Anthony Wayne, I kind of figured that they'd win that game anyway. We talked about that last week on the show. Yeah. And the reason why is just because I felt like the Zimmerleys, not just the one, but the two. You got two of them. You got the left tackle and you got the left guard, big brother,
right.
Baby brother. I think those two guys are just two dominant football players. And whenever you got dominant guys up front on the offensive line that's going to block you and put you in the ground, and you got a sophomore running back that's committed to Purdue to play baseball, you got a lot of talent around you. You got a lot of guys that's confident in who they are. But I did feel a little bit nervous for this team in that fourth quarter when they let Anthony Wayne come back. That did give me some concerns.
Well, I know when we were looking at the scores on Twitter during the breaks from our game, I was not surprised to see that Perrysburg was up big. I just felt like that Anthony Wayne team, they're good. They're just too young. But I think this Perrysburg team is a team that could really, we've been waiting for the resurgence of Perrysburg football.
Yes.
We've been waiting for this. Like, this is something that we all said, okay, it was going to be tough in 16, and it was going to be tough for them in 17, but we were really waiting for them to break out, and then they had the year with all the injuries. Kudos to, Coach Kriegel and his team, his coaches down there. They got those guys focused. They got them ready to play, and they're kind of on a bit of a revenge tour. And I think revenge is kind of what played into that fourth quarter. That fourth quarter letdown, I guess is what we can call it, kind of letting that Anthony Wayne team back into the game, because that game should have been salted away. But, I think those kids really wanted to put the hurting on Anthony Wayne, because they've taken some on the backside over the past few years.
One more game that caught my eye. This is one in the NBC, so we're going out to the boonies, is what I call it, out to the farmlands. Some good teams. Elmwood took on Rossford. Mm-hmm. Rossford had a really good young football team. It's a lot of promise over there, a lot of hype. I didn't get a chance to make my way over there, but I was told about the hype. I've seen some clips on the players, and they got a young quarterback that's doing really well, and some receivers, and up front, they're led by some guys and some veterans. Nick Walker and company. So one thing that I saw was Elmwood sneak out on this team and really dominate. I like how Elmwood is able to say, hey, we're not a city team. We don't have city players. Rossford's a city team, in my opinion.
Yeah,
they're kind of borderline, but they get Amazon now, so they a whole city now.
Yeah.
Is Amazon gonna turn that whole city into a metropolitan area, because people are going to start moving in. I think they're giving up like 30,000 jobs or something crazy like that.
Right.
I think I need to go apply.
Exactly.
I think I might be a resident soon. So as you look at it, I think Elmwood done a really good job. Their quarterback, Connor Locksman, I've been trying to spit his name out for like the past minute and a half, and I was thinking, Connor Locksman, this is a guy, he started since his freshman year. And Mason Oliver and Jared Oliver, the running back, really did a good job of just controlling that football game. They made a lot of big runs, a lot of good precise passes. And this is a team that was projected to have a share of that league title. This gives them the opportunity to get back and do that. I think Rossford is going to be a team to bounce back for, but I think people still need to keep their eyes on Elmwood. They're not done yet. They got Mason Mossberger. They got a lot of young football players who's going to step up. So keep your eye on Elmwood. Remember, I said that now. Ickes as well up front. Moving on. City League football is returning.
Yes.
About damn time, as LeBron James would say. LeBron James would say, about damn time. I'm elated for these kids because this is an opportunity for them to get back at what they love to do.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think that these kids, when you're seeing other kids playing and you're realizing they live 10 minutes from me and I don't get the chance to play, that's tough. That's tough, and it's tough for some of the kids that were going to try to use football to pay for college. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. If you at all times, I'm always thinking about with these young men playing high school football. Are they trying to go to college for free? That's a life-changing thing. If you cancel the season on these young men, you're changing some of their lives. So this is going to be an opportunity for them to really get out and really go hard and see, maybe somebody can earn some money out there. But, get out there, more importantly, just have fun. I mean, forget the pressure of all of that stuff. Get out there and have fun. You work really 9 months of the year for that one season, that 10-week season. And they deserve to have that season.
I agree. And just on the flip side, think about how tough it is for these coaches. I mean, we got a mutual friend in Godfrey Lewis, with some of the other coaches as well, not isolating anybody, but with G, you think about how hard it is going into your first year as a head coach.
Yeah.
And not knowing, just not knowing anything almost, whether you're going to have a season or not have a season. How hard do you think that would be for you if you stepped in as a head coach?
It'll be completely difficult because the biggest thing about being a coach is your players have to believe in you. And if you can't even guarantee I'm going to have a season, with today's young people, where for them, they are big on, keeping it real. You got to keep it real. And kids today, their BS detectors are off the charts. They're really good.
Yep.
So trying to keep this generation engaged, trying to keep the I generation engaged in something like this where it's not YouTube and it's not because you give a kid a tablet, they'll go watch YouTube for 8 hours and it won't even bother them.
Won't bother you at all. My daughter good at that.
Yeah, and so I tip my hat to all these city league coaches that were able to wrangle those guys, keep them focused, and get them back out onto the field because again you don't know what happened with these kids because a lot of them you're talking about their mental health with that because it's like if I want to play football and that's all I want to do and then you take the football season away from me, that's painful. That's really painful. So I'm happy to see those kids out there playing.
Yeah, it's a lot on their mental. Like you said, I think you hit it right there is, just the emotional aspect, the emotional drain, but now, they're getting back at practice this week. So, you can start seeing them back on Facebook, saying, hey, who gonna be my football fan? Who my number one fan? And I used to think that stuff was annoying, but I'm happy to see it because that means these guys are still thinking about football. They're excited about people coming and watch them do what they love to do. And like you said, this is what they want to do. Yeah. You making the decision to come out here and play this ball, in the weight room more months than you get to play. I think that's where the love and the passion is coming. So good luck to all those coaches in the City League. We're going to definitely get a chance to watch you guys in that City League championship. Don't forget, it still means something. Yeah. Woodward took one last year. They took one from Start. Remember, Start had the nice run.
They did.
And Woodward came in and stole it out. I was kind of surprised that Woodward didn't do it any sooner.
Yeah.
And so we'll see if Start can fight back, if Bowser can get back into play. But another team to keep an eye on is just Rogers. Rogers was a very scrappy team last year. They kind of turned the tide. And I hope to see them, in contentions, especially because I live in Rogers District. So I would like to say the district school that I live in is holding it down. On the last week, so last week, let's talk about the track. Let's go down the scoreboard and just look at the records. Number one spot, you got, basically, well, not necessarily the number one, 2-0 teams. You got a Central Catholic and Findlay. You got St. John's and Fremont. St. Francis and Lima Senior all sitting with 1-1 records. And then you got Whitmer and Clay sitting at the bottom of the conference. And those two square off this week. So maybe we can just start right there. How shocked or surprised are you by what you're seeing out of this Whitmer football program?
Very. I mean, in the what is it now, 3 seasons that I've covered Whitmer, it was the Riley Keller era. Yep. And they were one of the top teams in the area, and to see this team come out the gate 0-2 is extremely shocking. But I think they kind of ran into a buzzsaw, with that Findlay team, because nobody expected that from the Findlay team. And I think that there's going to be a time, but when you lose a transcendent player like Riley Keller, you lose that. That's tough. That's tough.
Losing Riley Keller and not to mention Jared Banks.
Yeah.
For last year, I think Jared Banks did more for the team
last year.
Than what. Not saying that Riley Keller didn't help the team, but last year this was Jared Banks' football team.
Yeah.
Riley Keller was coming off a shoulder injury. So that kind of helped take the pressure off of him. Now he's down there at your alma mater. Rocking the doo-doo brown and orange. Nah, I'm all playing. You see my Browns banner right here, so I rock the doo-doo brown and orange as well. My team is just isn't good as Bowling Green's. The Browns probably may lose to Bowling Green. I don't know. I mean, we just not that good. Hopefully, we're good this year.
I'm hoping, man. I need some Sunday happiness, man. Goodness,
man. And hopefully, I get to see Riley Keller, own that starting position down there in Bowling Green too. By the way, I know he's healthy and he's cleared to go back. So if he can get back on that field and start for them, I think that it makes some interesting shifts in in college football. But I'm gonna keep my notes on college football on the side right now. We ain't talking about college football. We're gonna definitely get there. Although we're itching, we want to get out there. We should be calling some college football right now.
Right.
But
I should be working on Saturdays instead of sitting at home. Look, I don't even know what to do on a Saturday afternoon in the fall anymore.
I mean, it doesn't even feel right.
No, it doesn't.
Not. It's like I saw on Twitter, with the Toledo Rockets page, it said, "Hey, we should be in Tulsa right now." And I said, "Dang, that really hits home. Like, I'm not working right now."
Yeah, exactly. Like,
like we should be gone.
Like, what am I doing? Is this what's going on in my life?
Who am I? We're having identity crisis over here, y'all. We have an identity. Let's bring back the MAC. Bring back Big Ten football,
please.
So Whitmer Clay. Who do you got in this game here?
I think Whitmer. I think Whitmer's going to pull it together. I think Coach Winters and the staff over there. They're due for one, man. They're due for one. They've got to keep the morale up over there, and I think that those guys are going to find a way to get it done. I think young Hornbeak gets his first victory as a starter. He's had a.
Now, to mention there, I don't mean to cut you off. I think Hornbeak may be out. This is allegedly from things that I'm hearing. He's gone for 7 weeks, so he may be done for a season. And Tommy Colbert stepped in last week.
Okay.
And I think that he will probably and more than likely be stepping out as a quarterback.
Okay. Well, you got to rally around the new guy then.
Yep.
You got to rally around the new guy.
He's a senior too, so
I mean, he's been around for a while, so it's the Friday night lights aren't gonna shake him. You got to get out there and you got to play the ball, you got to play the game. And I think that they're going to be able to pull this one out and try to get back onto the winning track, because again, this year, COVID season, everybody's going to the playoffs. So you have to make sure that you not only are you're because you still got time to pull it together and maybe get a couple of rounds in the playoffs. That's the thing. You can pull it together, get a couple of rounds in the playoffs.
You're right about that, and taking it down to another game. Let's go to another one. I agree with you, so let me not back out of my prediction. I'm with Whitmer as well. I stand with Whitmer. I think this is a team that has the ability to still be in contentions. I got a lot of slack because I said Whitmer may be in 3rd or 4th place preseason. Now I look like Nostradamus, but it's just the tide. The tide always turns, and then we're gonna turn to the new tide. So hopefully Clay gets it together. But the new tide that we have is St. Francis coming off of a big one. Speaking of Whitmer, against them. Mm-hmm. Jaden Gibson having I don't know if there's a relationship or not.
No relation. No relation.
He had a career high 21 tackles. Dominic Arnold on the defensive side had 2 touchdowns. Charles Green getting touchdowns on the outside. McCoy, Kaiser. I mean, this is a football team that's stepping up and playing really, really good football. But are they running into a buzzsaw when we talk about Central Catholic this weekend for the Irish Knight Trophy?
Well, I think that Central Catholic wins the game, but I think St. Francis is going to acquit themselves very well. St. Francis was a team that I watched a couple of times last year and really liked what I saw, really felt like they could have possibly turned the corner last year. But what you're seeing is a program that is being built and not just a good football team. This is a team that in a few years – they may be in contention for the track conference championship. Something's gonna pop for those young men over there. Shout out to those guys. I think St. Francis is a good football team, but I just think right now Central Catholic has too much.
I think I agree with you. Although St. Francis do have the tools, to be successful. I like what they did last week, versus Whitmer. Offensively, defensively, they really played stout. They played great football. But Central Catholic, Prentice Reason over, Tay Johnson, Watson, Leroy Watson, and company. This is Jalen Rivens. I know he hasn't played the past 2 weeks. He's been sidelined. So you got DeQuan Vincent. It's some dudes over there. I mean Chris sent it up front. I mean, this is a team where you can just rattle off names.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, that's a dude. He's a dude. He's a dude. He's a dude. It's not like guys that's coming up. You like, oh no, these are guys that can just play football.
Yeah, I mean, and I tell you what, of course, I taught the kid, but Martian Adams.
Oh yeah, he's really good up front.
Yeah, up front, offensive line, defensive line.
Yep.
Like what I saw from him this week, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
I was going to mention that with you.
On the defensive side of the ball, I'm like, it gave me shades of James Hudson, and that's high praise. But the kid is a freakish athlete, and he's 6'3", 260 pounds.
Yeah, that's a physical dude. And speaking of it, last year, this Irish night football game, I've been a part of this game on both sides as a former coach at both schools, at Central Catholic and St. Francis, and I've won out of 5, I've won 3 times. Lost twice, on the St. Francis side. But we were close. I think St. Francis got a shot. I think over the past few years, they've played this game a lot tighter than they have in the past with Chipka. So I think this is St. Francis team. If Central Catholic comes out playing around, throwing 3 interceptions in the first half like they did versus St. John's, they'll give this team life because McCoy is a good running back.
Yeah.
I think he's a Division I kid.
Yeah.
I think he has the talent. And if you play around and let that kid get going, he can hurt you. So I'm not picking any upsets here. I'm sticking with Central Catholic on this one.
But I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think.
Yes.
It's going to be closer than a lot of people think.
I agree. Moving along in the track, it's some more games coming up here. We're going to fly through them. Actually, the next big one we have is St. John's and Findlay. That is a sleeper big game.
That's a huge game. I think that game is huge. I think that might be the biggest game of the week to me. Because
I won't argue that.
This is Findlay's opportunity to turn this game into a coming out party. They have an opportunity to turn it into a coming out party.
They definitely can. I think this is a team that can really dominate you up front.
Yeah.
and I know what Coach Pease is telling these guys. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it right here.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to be known? This is it. And he's been teaching them that NFL mentality. Mm-hmm. And anytime you can just get a piece of that,
yeah,
I don't even know what that's like. I mean, actually, we had a little bit in high school. Our linebacker coach was a Butkus Award winner. So you like, Coach Anderson, he know what it's about. So when he told you something, you like, it's real. Anybody that won a Butkus Award definitely know about defense, definitely know about hitting you and getting free. So this is what Pease brings to the table, that pedigree. Mm-hmm. And I know Larry McDaniel has a lot of college coaching, so this is going to be a slugfest between 2 coaching staffs. And can Brady Lichtenberg expose the secondary of Findlay?
Well, and I think that's going to be the biggest question is, can Brady Lichtenberg do what he did against Central Catholic? I think if he comes out and he plays that type of game, I think that St. John's can win the game. But that I'm gonna be on upset alert all night tomorrow night, or all night tonight. I'm gonna be on upset alert because I don't know. It's one of those ones where it's like if it can go either way, and you just don't know. I think that's probably going to be the game of the week to me.
Agreed. All right, here's the fast money round. We got about a minute left in the show, guys. I know y'all want more. You're going to have to listen to it next week. But here we go. Let's get some of these predictions out the way. Anthony Wayne, Bowling Green, who do you got?
I'm going to go AW. I think they get off the schneid. They're coming off of their first loss in the conference in four years. And I think that they're gonna do some damage, but I do believe that this Bowling Green team is gonna mitigate that damage. The defense is real good.
Let's split the pair. I'm picking BG.
Gotcha.
All right, here we go.
Gotcha.
St. John's Finley, we both agree. Oh, we didn't agree.
We didn't agree.
We didn't say anything. Let me not throw you the vote.
Yeah,
I'll go first.
Uh-huh.
I'm going St. John's. I think that Brady Lichtenberg can get it done.
Well, I think he's the best player on the field. I'm going St. John's also.
Good deal. All right, Central Catholic St. Francis.
Central Catholic.
We both pick them. Springfield versus Northview. Springfield, I'm picking the other side. I'm going Northview.
Okay.
You know, they both been on the skid, 0-2 teams. Yeah, flip a coin.
I'm going to go Springfield.
I'm going Northfield. There it is. Here we go. Northview, not Northfield. Here we go. Southview versus Perrysburg.
That's Perrysburg. Yeah, Perrysburg's going to take that one.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go Perrysburg with you. I like what they got. Maumee versus Napoleon.
They gonna bring that Rough Rider bearing the football up, and they gonna do some damage.
Yeah, I'm all the way with Gerderman and Strock and that team. They really got it going. I like it. Perkins and Bellevue, a little wild card game, Sandusky area.
Throwing me off. You know, I gotta go into my thing. I'm gonna go Perkins.
Hey, Perkins, the Pirates are a pretty good pick. I'm going Bellevue. I got love for my guy Alex Foose, former player down there. So I don't know much about that team, but we're just gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna go Bellevue. We'll split that one. Let's go Cardinals, Stritch, and Eden.
I'm expecting that to be an extremely physical game,
yes.
but I think going with, and it's tough in football. It doesn't work like this, but it does in basketball. But I'm gonna use the basketball theory. Best player on the field is gonna be Dwayne Moorhead. Dwayne Moorhead's gonna find a way to get a W. I'm
agreeing with you. I'm going with Cardinal Stritch. Hey, we'll get you some more games. We'll get you some more stats. We'll get you guys everything else on the next episode. So with that being said, thanks y'all for tuning in. Catch us on YouTube. Like our Facebook page. We'll see you guys soon.